A very good morning to one and all present. Good evening to one and all present here. Hope you all are doing well. The topic for today's live webinar session is a complete guide on accounting. I, Kavya Sareen, on behalf of Cerebro Kids, take immense pleasure in introducing to you our speaker for today, CA Zama Sayed. Mr. Sayed is working as a senior tax associate in Manubhali and Shah LLP. He will be sharing with us some useful and beneficial information and insights from the field of accounting. Hope you all enjoy the session. It is going to be an interactive session, so please mute yourself for now and unmute yourself when asked questions. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Hope I am audible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so without wasting any further time, let's begin our session. So, first of all, a small introduction of myself. I am a chartered accountant. As you might all, good evening. As you might be knowing that I am a chartered accountant and I am working as a senior tax associate profile. So today I will be guiding you on the topic of a complete guide to accounting. So what is accounting, how it works in the practical world, and what are the various aspects to be considered while doing accounting? Today's topic, we are going to cover each and everything regarding that. So to begin with, we will start from the basics and we will take it to the practical world of accounting. So everyone is ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It is going to be an interactive session. So मेरे साथ बोलते रहना आप लोग सारे. So let's begin. So we will start from the basics of accounting. So in today's world, you might be seeing in any organization, there are lots and lots of transactions which are happening on daily basis. For example, there are sales, purchase, expenses, incomes, bank transactions. So all these transactions are happening on daily basis. So if we do not record these transactions, if we skip these transactions from the books, at the end of the accounting year, you might be knowing that the accounting year in India starts from 1st April and ends on 31st March. I hope you all are aware regarding this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there are lots and lots of transactions happening on daily basis. If we skip these transactions, at the end of the year, we will never know what has happened in the company or any organization. So if we skip sales and purchase or other transactions, a true picture of business will never come to the owners of the company. They will never know what profit we are making or what loss we are making or with whom, what transactions have been done. So it becomes essential to record these transactions. And recording these transactions in a proper manner is termed as accounting. So accounting is nothing but recording the transactions in a meaningful format in a systematic manner in the books of company. So I hope basics of accounting is clear in each and everyone's mind. So as an accountant, what our role is? As an accountant, our role is to manage all these things. For these day-to-day transactions, for these daily transactions, we have to maintain a proper books of accounts. And in these books of accounts, we are going to see how these books of account is getting managed on day-to-day basis in a practical world. So you might be thinking, okay, why the maintenance of these books of account is necessary? Is it necessary only to the owners of the business? Necessary to others also, like there is government, there are other stakeholders of the company. So is it necessary to each and everyone, or is it necessary to only the owners of the organization? To the financial statements, it is not only compulsory to make financial statements voluntarily, but as per some laws like Companies Act, which states that keeping a financial statement and financial record of a company is mandatory. And at the end of the financial year, it gets audited by a chartered accountant. So let's begin that to make the sense of the users of financial statement and to take the various decisions. For example, if we are running any organization, it is not only our money which is engaged into the business. There are other people's money also. Like we have investors, we have other creditors also, and we have government. So all these people hold stake in any organization. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं आज एक बात करूं कि अगर कोई एक कंपनी बंद हो जाती है मार्केट में तो सिर्फ उस कंपनी को नुकसान नहीं है. देयर इज अ लॉस टू एम्प्लॉइज, देयर इज लॉस टू गवर्नमेंट इन रिगार्ड्स टू टैक्सेस. आज एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बंद होने से गवर्नमेंट को टैक्सेस बनना कम हो जाएगा, किसी की जॉब जाएगी, उसको एम्प्लॉयमेंट खत्म हो जाएगा. अदर क्रेडिटर्स जिनके पैसे लेने बाकी है उस कंपनी से, उन लोगों का भी लॉस होगा. तो देयर इज अ लॉस टू सोसाइटी एज अ होल. सो अकाउंटिंग इज सच एन इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग दैट ये अकाउंटिंग इन सारे लोगों को ये इंफॉर्मेशन देती है कि कंपनी में क्या चल रहा है, कंपनी में कितना प्रॉफिट हो रहा है, कितना लॉस हो रहा है, कितना सेल्स हो रहा है. सो एट द एंड इट इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट कि अकाउंटिंग जो है समझी जाए और उसको अच्छे तरीके से निभाया जाए. अब हम जानते हैं कि अकाउंटिंग जो है वो किन किन लोगों को जरूरी है जानना. लाइक स्टेक होल्डर्स ऑफ द कंपनी. द स्टेक होल्डर्स ऑफ द कंपनी आर मैनेजमेंट. मैनेजमेंट मीन्स वो पर्सन जो डिसीजन लेने के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में. फॉर एग्जाम्पल बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स. किसी भी कंपनी के बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स जो होते हैं वो डिसीजन लेते हैं. तो वो डिसीजन क्या बेस पे लेंगे? अब बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स देखेंगे, देन दे विल कम टू नो कि ट्रू पिक्चर क्या है बिजनेस का. देयर आर शेयर होल्डर्स. जैसे हम और आप किसी भी कंपनी के शेयर्स खरीदते हैं, वी बिकम शेयर होल्डर्स ऑफ द कंपनी. तो हम और आप जब शेयर्स खरीदेंगे तो हम क्या देख करके शेयर खरीदते हैं? We see at the financial statements, the accounts. अगर उस कंपनी में अकाउंट्स ही अवेलेबल नहीं है तो आप कैसे अंदाजा लगाएंगे कि वो कंपनी कैसा परफॉर्म कर रही है? Then there is government. Government will see कितना रेवेन्यू आपने कमाया है, उसके हिसाब से आपको टैक्स लगाया जाता है. Then there are creditors. Creditors वो लोग हैं जिनसे हमने कुछ खरीदा है और हमें उनको पैसे देना बाकी है. These are creditors. So ये सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं. These are all stakeholders. I will be talking in English plus Hindi. So it is going to be a mixed session because everyone is not comfortable in English and rather everyone is also not comfortable in Hindi. So both these languages will run simultaneously. So let us discuss further कि अकाउंटिंग जो होता है वो तो हम समझ गए. सर अकाउंटिंग क्यों होता है और इसका इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है वो तो हमने समझ लिया. लेकिन सर अब अकाउंटिंग कौन से फॉर्मेट में होता है? क्या हम बुक्स में ऐसे ही कहीं पे भी अकाउंटिंग लिख सकते हैं? सो नो. अकाउंटिंग का एक प्रॉपर फॉर्मेट है, जो फॉर्मेट हमको, जो लोग 11th कॉमर्स में आ चुके हैं उनको ये सारी चीजें पता होंगी. 11th कॉमर्स एंड ऑनवर्ड्स कि अकाउंटिंग का एक प्रॉपर फॉर्मेट होता है जिसे हम बोलते हैं बैलेंस शीट एंड प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट. सो दीज टू स्टेटमेंट्स आर द फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन ऑफ द कंपनी. आपको अगर किसी भी कंपनी का फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन देखना है, यू विल हैव टू गो थ्रू बैलेंस शीट एंड प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट बोथ. ये फॉर्मेट बनाने के लिए देयर इज वन प्रोसीजर. अकाउंटिंग जो है वो शुरू होता है सोर्स डॉक्यूमेंट से. सोर्स डॉक्यूमेंट मींस अभी वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अकाउंटिंग प्रोसेस कि अकाउंटिंग कहां से शुरू होता है और कहां पे जाकर के खत्म होता है. सो द अकाउंटिंग प्रोसेस स्टार्ट्स विद द सोर्स डॉक्यूमेंट. फॉर एग्जांपल एनी एविडेंस like any transaction happened, so bill, invoice, receipt, that is the primary thing जिसके बेस पे हम अकाउंटिंग करेंगे. अकाउंटिंग हवा में नहीं होती है, हर अकाउंटिंग एंट्री का एक एविडेंस होना जरूरी है. So we are going to get the source document. After getting the source document, we will pass a necessary journal entry. Everybody from 11th commerce and onwards might be knowing that journal entry is the basics of accounts. Accountancy की शुरुआत है journal entry. After getting the source document, we will pass a necessary journal entry. Then we will post this journal entry into ledger accounts. That is ledger posting. After posting that thing into ledger, we will carry forward those balances to trial balance. And from trial balance, we prepare financial statements. So what is the process of accounting? Repeat after me. So first of all, it is source document. What it is? It's a source document. Second is journal entry. Right. Third one is ledger posting. From the journal entry, we will do, and from ledger posting, we will go to trial balance and then financial statements. And what are these financial statements? Balance sheet and profit and loss account.
Profit and loss account.
Right. Okay. So our next topic of discussion will be the elements of financial statements. So what are the things which are included in the financial statements? There are basically 5 elements. What are these elements? Number 1, that is income. Number 2, there is expense. Then we have asset. Then we have liability. And the last is capital or equity. So we will discuss each and everything in detail moving further in this session. So the first of all is asset. What is an asset? You might have heard or you might have came across this word many times, that it is an asset of the company. So to which thing we can call it as an asset of the company? So it is defined. It is defined in various books. Various authors have given different definitions of an asset. So a standard defines that an asset is a resource controlled by an entity from which future economic benefits are expected. For example, a company holds a machinery or a land or a building. A machinery which is owned by a company will give it a future benefit, future economic benefit. From that machinery, company is going to produce various goods which is going to sold in the market. So from machinery, company is going to get the future economic benefit. So that machinery forms part of the assets of the company. So this is what we call assets. The assets form parts of the balance sheet. Moving further, after assets comes the second most important thing, that is liabilities. What is a liability? A liability is defined as a present obligation of the entity, to transfer an economic resource as a result of past event. We will take an example. For example, there are creditors or the company has taken a loan from the bank. So company is taking a loan. So you might be telling, sir, company ने loan लिया है तो पैसा company के पास आया, तो ये liability कैसे हुआ? तो liability, this is in the second way, like a bank or a cash is coming in the form of loan, but at the same time company has to repay this loan in the future. So there is an obligation on the company to pay the loan in future. So this becomes a liability because it is an obligatory for the company to pay that loan amount in the future. So hope you all are getting what I'm telling. Asset and liabilities. Is everybody there?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
सर आपने बताया लाइबिलिटीज प्रेजेंट ऑब्लिगेशन है, बट कुछ फ्यूचर ऑब्लिगेशंस भी तो होती है जैसे कॉन्टिजेंट लाइबिलिटीज.
Yeah.
तो वो प्रेजेंट ऑब्लिगेशंस थोड़ी, वो तो फ्यूचर ऑब्लिगेशंस भी ना सर, प्रेजेंट बोलना ठीक होगा.
Yeah, definitely. But what I am telling is the contingent liabilities are never formed part of financial statements. They are shown as a footnote to
Footnotes.
Yes. So these never form part of the financial statement. So contingent liabilities, although it is a liability, but it may or may not happen in the future. So those uncertainties, these are excluded from the financial statements and are shown as a footnote to the balance sheet.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, good question. Moving further, we will discuss what is an equity or capital. So you might be knowing, sir, only a single term, that is equity. So why we are calling it sometimes capital or sometimes we are calling it as an equity? So well, that depends on the organization. If the organization is a company, we will call it as an equity. And if the organization is non-company, for example, it's a partnership firm or a proprietorship firm, then we will call it as a capital. So capital is nothing but a money invested by the owners of the company in business. So any money which owners bring into the company is regarded as a capital. And in terms of company, we call it as an equity. So 3 main items of balance sheet, that is asset, liabilities and equity. I hope you all have got these definitions. Right. So summarizing the session till now, we went from the basics of accounting, then we prepared the format of accounting, that is balance sheet and profit and loss account. And then we discussed the process of accounting, that is from source document, journal entry, ledger posting, trial balance, and then financial statements. So sometimes financial statement includes cash flow statement and statement of changes in equity. What it is, we will discuss further. So majorly, financial statements includes 2 things, that is balance sheet and now moving further in this session, we are going to discuss what is double entry system of bookkeeping. right? So double entry system is nothing but it's not any logic or a rocket science. It means debit is equals to credit. So whatever transaction takes place, it has two effects. One effect is debit effect and another one is credit effect. For example, if a owner brings asset into the company or a cash into the company, so the entry will be passed as cash account debit to capital. Here we will see that cash has been debited, means asset has increased. And on the same side, capital has been credited, means liability has been increased. So in order to match the balance sheet, because balance sheet has to be matched. If balance sheet is not matching, there is some mistake in the account. So we will have to analyze that both these things, that is debit and credit, gets matched at the end of the year. So debit is equals to credit. That is what we call as a double entry system of bookkeeping, right? Another example is, for example, company takes a loan. So cash comes into the bank account of the company. So bank account debit, and the entry will be to loan account. So here we will see that bank account has been debited. So asset has been created for the company, that is bank balance. And loan, that is an obligation of the company, has been emerged. So this obligation is credited as a liability. So bank account debit to loan account. So double entry of bookkeeping is justified here, right? So till this session, what we have learned is accounting is a very vast field. You can't say that accounting can be completed within a day or two or a week. Accounting is a continuous process. As long as the business runs, accounting happens. As long as transaction happens, accounting happens. So in day-to-day life, whatever transactions are happening into the company, to bring that transaction into the financial statement, that is what the role of an accountant is. Now, accounting is a part of finance, and in finance, someone is asking me question. I'll keep a question answer session after my speech. So please hold on. Keep your questions with you, note it down, and I'll answer each one of them. So I was on double entry system. Now accounting is a part of finance, and finance is a very vast field. When you will come into the practical world, you will know that finance is not restricted to accounting or any other aspect. So and right now the finance field is emerging. So what is the role of accountant is to keep proper track of the transactions, because after accounting comes audit, systematic check of those accounts which have been recorded. So from the source document till the preparation of trial balance and financial statements, it is the role of an accountant. An accountant prepares all these things. All these things are prepared by the accountant and checked by a chartered accountant. So this is the major difference between an accountant and a chartered accountant. Some people who are not from finance background, they confuse the accountant with chartered accountant and auditor. So auditor is nothing but a chartered accountant. An accountant is a person who is responsible for keeping the books of accounts. Right. So moving further, now what accounting has to do in the practical world. So in practical world, accounting is not done on paper or any books or by manual accounting. Desinama is getting reduced. Only the small trade keepers or hawkers, they are keeping the Desinama, and accounting is now shifted to softwares on computers. So accounting is as a part of a computer and technology program. So it is very important for accountants also to keep intact with technology. Softwares are coming in the market on day-to-day basis. So you have to keep yourself updated. You have to keep yourself intact with those technology which is taking place. Right now, which is the most commonly used accounting software? Can anyone tell me? Tally. Which is the most commonly used accounting software in today's world in India? Tally. Yeah, right, exactly. Tally. We can't forget Tally when we are talking about accounting. So Tally ERP, that is the most commonly used software because it is user friendly. Report and extracting reports from Tally is very easy. So people prefer Tally over any other software. However, there are various other customized software also as per the requirement of their business. So ERP is nothing but it has to match with the business need of the organization. software is customized according to the business needs. So there are various other software like and on advanced level we have SAP. So if you might not have heard SAP, you can Google it on internet. SAP is the software. Oracle is the software. There are various other softwares which you need to know that these are also getting used in day-to-day business. So as I told that accounts are audited, yes, Oracle. Banks use Oracle. Hey, banks also have various other softwares. Who is asking this? Banks use Oracle. Banks use many other software like there is Finacle, there is Banks 24, that is software prepared by TCS. There are various other softwares for banking. So banking itself holds various others accounting. Oracle, Reyes, right? Dimple Agrawal, right? Oracle. So I was on that accounts are audited by a chartered accountant. Accounts are audited by a chartered accountant, and after auditing, a chartered accountant issues a report that is known as annual report. And company issues annual reports to each and every shareholder, and that is freely available on the website of the company. So if you aren't aware of this annual report, I would suggest you to go through once this annual report. Some of the technical terms you might not understand, so you can Google that from anywhere you want. And the second most important thing is that you will come to know that what kind of accounts and what type of transactions company is taking place. So day to day, you will see that complexity of transaction is increasing. For example, right now lease, if we'll talk about lease, there are two types of lease. I'm giving just an example. There is finance lease, there is operating lease. So there is lots of complexity for these lease transactions. Read these reports, which are freely available on the website of the company. You will get to know what these companies are doing and what all transactions which are taking place in the practical world. Right. So if anybody is having question till now, you can getting reduced. Only the small trade keepers or hawkers, they are keeping the Desi Nama, and accounting has now shifted to softwares on computers. So accounting is as a part of a computer and technology program. So it is very important for accountants also to keep intact with technology, because new and new softwares are coming in the market on day-to-day basis. So you have to keep yourself updated. You have to keep yourself intact with those technology which is taking place. Right now, which is the most commonly used accounting software? Can anyone tell me?
Tally.
Which is the most commonly used accounting software in today's world? In
Tally
India.
software.
Yeah, right, exactly. Tally. We can't forget Tally when we are talking about accounting. So Tally ERP, that is the most commonly used software because it is user friendly, and extracting reports from Tally is very easy. So people prefer Tally over any other software. However, there are various other customized software also which are used by traders as per the requirement of their business. So ERP is nothing but it has to match with the business need of the organization, and then the software is customized according to the business needs. So there are various other software like and on advanced level we have SAP. So if you might not have heard SAP, you can Google it on internet. SAP is the software. Oracle is the software. There are various other softwares which you need to know that these are also getting used in day-to-day business. So as I told that accounts are audited, yes, Oracle. Banks use Oracle. Hey, banks also have various other softwares. Who is asking this? Banks use Oracle. Banks use many other software like there is Finacle, there is Banks 24, that is software prepared by TCS. There are various other softwares for banking. So banking itself holds various others accounting. Oracle, Reyes, right? Dimple Agrawal, right? Oracle. So I was on that accounts are audited by a chartered accountant. Accounts are audited by a chartered accountant, and after auditing the accounts, a chartered accountant issues a report that is known as annual report, and company issues annual reports to each and every shareholder, and that is freely available on the website of the company. So if you aren't aware of this annual report, I would suggest you to go through once this annual report. Some of the technical terms you might not understand, so you can Google that from anywhere you want. And the second most important thing is that you will come to know that what kind of accounts and what type of transactions company is taking place. So day to day, you will see that complexity of transaction is increasing. For example, right now lease, if we'll talk about lease, there are two types of lease. I'm giving just an example. There is finance lease, there is operating lease. So there is lots of complexity for these lease transactions. So once you will read these reports, which are freely available on the website of the company, you will get to know what these companies are doing and what all transactions which are taking place in the practical world. Right. So if anybody is having question till now, you can ask me.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, right.
Sir, you have said that a chartered accountant is an auditor.
Yeah.
But then what's the difference between that auditor of the government who checks the report published by the companies to check whether these accounts are correct or not? And
Right.
yes, sir.
Yeah, complete.
And then if there is some mistake done by the company, then punishment has been given to that company. So what's the difference between the government auditor and the CA?
Yeah, right. So the auditor, there are two types of companies. First of all, one is a private company, the other one is a government company.
Yes.
Right. So the auditor of a government company is appointed by C and AG of India. That is the Comptroller and Auditor General of India.
Yes, sir.
The appointing authority for the government company is the C and AG of India. And the appointing authority for the private company is the shareholders. So as soon as the company gets incorporated, within a specific time period, the shareholders have to appoint the auditor. That is nothing but a chartered accountant. An auditor has to be compulsorily a practicing chartered accountant.
Okay, sir.
Right. And for the government company, there is C and AG. That is the authority appointed by the central government.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is the difference between.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So फिर जो गवर्नमेंट की जो मिनिस्ट्री होती है उसमें जो ये एनालाइज करते हैं वो भी फिर सीए ही होते हैं.
Yes, exactly.
सर वो कंपल्सरी थोड़ी है कि सीए ही होंगे.
No, for being an auditor, whether it is a government company or a private company, it has to be a chartered accountant.
It's compulsory to be a chartered accountant.
Yes, it is. It has to be compulsory to be a chartered accountant, to be an auditor of a company, whether it is a private or a government company. Just the difference is the appointing authority changes.
Okay, sir.
So now there are some golden rules of accounting, which you might have gone through in your school period. There are 3 golden rules of accounting. So you can say, anyone?
Debit the receiver, credit the giver.
Right.
Debit what comes in, credit what goes out.
Right.
Debit all the expenses and
Credit all the
all incomes and gains.
incomes and gains.
Right. So first of all, you might be confused that debit what comes in and credit what goes out, and what is all this like that. Right. So whenever an income occurs or an asset increases, we debit the transaction. Right. So whatever is coming in, that is benefiting the organization, or that is creating a future economic benefit for the organization. For example, cash is coming in. For example, there are debtors is increasing, sales is increasing, or revenue is increasing for the company. So that is beneficial for the company. Right. So it increases ultimately the sales. And if debtors are increasing, it increases the assets of the company. So that is all this. This is what the golden rules of accounting says, that debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Now, what will happen if a company does not maintain an account? I told it earlier also. So anyone can answer. What will happen if the company does not maintain its books of account properly?
The stakeholders will not be getting the actual position of the company.
Right. So if I am a stakeholder and I want to take a proper decision of the company, I need to analyze the financial statement of the company. Right.
Yes.
So if financial statements are not being made properly, or these transactions are not being recorded properly, there will be a lot of misunderstanding between people. For example, various frauds are happening nowadays. Any famous fraud which you might have heard in recent times?
The Yes Bank crisis.
Yes Bank crisis. Yes. Any other? Okay, I will tell. Yeah, exactly. I was coming to that only. Satyam Computers case. So you know what happened in Satyam Computer case? Anyone? In Satyam Computers case, that fellow who was the management level person, he manipulated the books of accounts by increasing the asset. Actually, those assets were not present physically, or that those assets were not real, but it manipulated the books of accounts. It manipulated to the level that stakeholders get impressed and people will invest in the company, right? And with those people's money, he bought many other personal properties, and that is what that case was regarding the Satyam case. If you get time, I will suggest go through that Satyam Computer case. You will learn a lot. You will learn a lot from that case, because that case is a boon for any case study reader.
Okay, sir.
Right. Right. So if anyone is having any type of question with regards to accounting or any practical world question, you can ask me. No questions? Okay. So I will move further. So, like becoming a chartered accountant, what is the scope in accounting? What are careers in accounting? I will discuss over that. Now someone is asking, Mr. Satyam Singh is asking, what is the eligibility for becoming a chartered accountant, or what are the careers in accounting? I am coming to that. So if you want to become a chartered accountant, you have to compulsorily give 12th standard examination. It is not necessary that you pass or fail, but you should have at least sit in 12th standard examination, in board examination. After giving your 12th board exams, you can register for the common proficiency test, which is now known as CA foundation exams. So CA foundation exams, that is duration of 6 months. So after clearing CA foundation exams, you start your intermediate exams. You start preparing for your intermediate exam. That is the duration of approximately a year. So in that intermediate exam, there are two groups, right? First group and the second group, and there are 8 subjects. So once you clear at least one group, that is 4 subjects, you are eligible to start your articleship. Articleship is nothing but like internship. That is what doctors do. That is internship. And in chartered accountancy, we call it as articleship. Right. So after doing 3 years of articleship, you have to give your CA final examination. CA final exam. Once you clear CA final examination, you are called as a chartered accountant. Right. So this is the eligibility criteria to become a chartered accountant. Now, someone is asking that how to become an accountant. So for accountant, there is no eligibility or no study criteria. If you have knowledge, you can do lots and lots in your life, in your career. So accountant may be 12th pass, maybe BCom, or maybe some inter CA. There are various accountants available in the industry. When you will come to practical world, you will know that accountants are in mass. So accountant's role is to keep the books of accounts, as I told, and various accountants are doing well in their life. Right. Any other career question? Now, apart from CA, what are the other courses which you can opt for? Right. So there is, someone is asking if someone cannot clear in first attempt. So there is no attempt criteria. There is no attempt criteria in chartered accountancy. You can give as much attempts as you can. The duration or gap between 2 attempts is 6 months. Right. So after 6 months, you can give another exam for chartered accountancy. Someone is asking, what is the better future in CA in India or outside India? In India or outside India? Well, that depends what you want to do. If you want to explore industry or the international market, you can go outside. Otherwise, in India also there are lots of opportunities. The thing is, you should know how to search. Right? That depends totally on you. That depends person to person. If anyone wants to shift from India to any other country, well, that is his choice. Right? What are the other fields apart from chartered accountancy? What are the other fields which we can opt for? There is a CS exam or CWA exams. You might have heard company secretary, and the other is Cost and Works Accountants of India, CWA. So these organizations are having their separate institute and they are running smoothly like ICAI. ICAI is an organization for chartered accountants in India. And like we have ICSI, ICWAI for these CS and CWA. Cost and Work Accountants is basically the cost accountants which you can give in the same manner like you give a chartered accountancy exam. And company secretary is more of law thing. If you love law and you have a special connection with the books of law, so you can opt for company secretary. There are various law like Company Act, Labor Act, and various other acts which are being taught in the CS syllabus. And CA is more of accountancy, right? It's not only about accountancy, but it's more of accountancy, right? Apart from there, MBA in finance, that is also an emerging field which is coming forward. If you do MBA in finance with a good organization of repute, that is going to pay you handsome in your career, and you can do it well. Like someone is asking CFA, that is Chartered Financial Analyst. That is also one of the toughest exam after chartered accountancy. And CFA has their own advantage and disadvantages just like CA have. So that is also an emerging field, a good field. But I've heard that CFA, there are 3 levels, CFA level 1, level 2. Many of them leave after CFA giving CFA level 2 examination. So that is the thing which I have heard. If any one of you knows more about CFA, you can tell. Is there anyone who is doing CA right now? Anyone? So what all you are studying right now?
12, currently 12.
Okay. So what are the scopes of chartered accountant? So after becoming chartered accountant, what all fields you can opt, right? So there are various industries which are ready to take a chartered accountant. First of all, you can start your own practice, right? So if you are not willing to do any job, so you can start your own practice. Second one is if you don't want to go for practice, you can opt for industry. There is banking industry, financial industry, and there are insurance companies which are hiring chartered accountants. There is lots and lots of scope in taxation. For example, like now international taxation, GST, income tax. This is what are emerging fields. And right now direct tax code is coming. So income tax will be replaced by the direct tax code. And this direct tax code will be the new area for every chartered accountant. So this is the area which is having scope right now, and it's an emerging field. Another one. Hello. Am I audible?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
सर थोड़ा सा आप ये बता सकते हो डायरेक्ट टैक्स कोड के बारे में कि क्या चीज है जो इम्प्लीमेंट होनी है अभी?
अभी डायरेक्ट टैक्स कोड जो है इम्प्लीमेंटेशन प्रोसेस में है, अभी वो इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हुआ है. जस्ट लाइक अभी हमारे पास इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1961 है. तो जो इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1961 में बनाया गया था, उसमें हर साल फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर फरवरी में आते हैं और कुछ ना कुछ अमेंडमेंट करके जाते हैं. ये आपने सुना ही होगा, राइट? हर साल जो बजट पास, वेरियस चेंजेस, बहुत सारे चेंजेस होते हैं. स्लैब रेट चेंज हो जाते हैं, टैक्स रेट चेंज होते हैं, अदर जिन चीजों को टैक्स में कवर नहीं किया गया उन चीजों को कवर कर लिया जाता है. तो देयर आर वेरियस लूप होल्स इन दिस इनकम टैक्स एक्ट, which is very old act. In 1961 it was created. So to cover all these loopholes and to bring a uniformity in the act, a direct tax code is going to come.
सर तो फिर जो मतलब इसमें स्लैब्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रखे हैं, जैसे जिनकी इनकम 10 लाख पर एनम से ज्यादा है तो फिर उनको 30% देना है, तो वो सब भी इससे कैंसिल हो जाएगा मतलब? वो स्लैब
नहीं 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 नहीं, एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग टू रिमेन सेम. व्हाट द थिंग विल बी कि जो रॉबस्ट थिंग्स है, जो हमारे अभी के टाइम में जो एप्लीकेबल है, ज्यादातर उन चीजों पर फोकस किया जाएगा. ये स्लैब रेट, टैक्स रेट्स, ये तो रहने ही वाले. अदरवाइज गवर्नमेंट, हाउ द गवर्नमेंट विल कलेक्ट टैक्सेस if it will demolish this tax?
Yes, sir.
So that tax rates may be amended because that is the thing which goes with the inflation of the country. Like if the inflation is increasing, government will increase the tax, and so the tax bracket will change from individual to individual. So these things are going to remain, but the things that which are applicable for the currently what things are applicable for the income tax, that will be the part of the direct tax code.
Okay, sir.
More updated. Syllabus of chartered accountancy. Someone is asking what is the syllabus of chartered accountancy. So with regards to syllabus, there are 8 subjects. Like we have law, we have costing, we have accountancy, we have various other acts like direct tax act, GST, we have strategic financial management, and one subject on technology. So there are mix and match of various subjects which are going to make you a chartered accountant. So CA is, you may think that CA is more of accountancy, but it has various aspects. In order to become a chartered accountant, you should
Sir is facing some internet connectivity issue. He will be joining again shortly. This is to announce once again that all the participants will only be awarded participation certificates if they attend the entire webinar. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Right. So it was a technical error, I think. Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Right. Okay. So we were discussing regarding the career. Now moving forward, we are going to discuss regarding some important aspects of accounting. So first of all is depreciation. So what is depreciation and what are the accounting entries of depreciation? We are going to discuss that. So every fixed asset of a company, it has a useful life. For example, if you purchase a machinery, it has its useful life like 10 years, 20 years. It has its own useful life. And after that useful life, it has to be sold in scrap. So every person, even we humans have a life. After one particular age, we die, right? So these assets also, these immovable properties, these also have a life. So depreciation is the thing which considers this, right? So if we purchase, for example, we purchase machinery in year 1, and that machinery costs rupees 1 lakh, right? But that 1 lakh machinery is going to benefit us over the period of 10 years. So the accounting matching concept in accounting says that this 1 lakh is not going to benefit you in the same year. This 1 lakh is going to benefit over the period of 10 years. So why not you spread this expense of 1 lakh over the period of 10 years? So that is logical. That 1 lakh expense we have incurred in year 1, but this 1 lakh is going to benefit us till year 10. So let us allocate this 1 lakh expense over the period of 10 years by keeping 10,000 as expense in every year, right? So this concept is known as depreciation, and depreciation is a thing which is very much important. Depreciation rates decrease in the value of asset, right? It is not actually a decrease in value, but you can say it as what you can say is the reduction in the value due to the changes and due to the time passing of time, right? So this 10,000 we will allocate over the period of 10 years, and various rates have been prescribed for depreciation. Like for Companies Act, there are separate rates. For Income Tax Act, we have separate rates. And for the purpose of income tax, there are separate rates. And due to this, there are different set of books of accounts created. As per Companies Act, different set. For example, Companies Act allows only 5,000 depreciation, and Income Tax Act says 10% depreciation, right? So there are two famous methods to allocate the depreciation. One is straight line method. That is what we have done. Like 1 lakh has been allocated over the period of useful life, that is 10 years. So that is 10,000 have been allocated to each year. That is straight line method. And another one is reducing balance method, or what you can say is that return down value method. In return down value method, what we are going to do is we have to apply one specific rate, right? In return down value method, for example, the actual cost of the asset is 1 lakh, and we have to apply 10% rate. For example, 10% rate comes to 10,000. So 90,000 will be the balance that will be carried forward over to second year. And now on second year, we will apply that 10% rate on 90,000 and not on 1 lakh. This is the difference between straight line method and WDV method. Now, Income Tax Act never allows straight line method in the books of accounts. We have to always follow WDV method, and that too the rates which are being mentioned in the Income Tax Act. There are various rates which are mentioned in the Income Tax Act, like for plant and machinery, there is the rate of 15%. For land and building, land, for example, land is not depreciable, let me tell you, because land has no useful life. Years and years may pass, but the land remains the same. So land has no useful life, and for that purpose, land cannot be depreciated in accountancy. For building, we have 5%. And for other various assets, we have different rates. For furniture, we have 10%. So these rates are applicable only when we are accounting as per Income Tax Act. So you might have heard regarding the tax audit. When a chartered accountant does a tax audit, it has to go through the income tax rates which are prescribed under the Income Tax Act 1961. It has to see that all the rates which have been prescribed in Income Tax Act are followed or not. A company prepares its books of accounts as per Companies Act or as per the act applicable to it, and it provides depreciation as per straight line method. But the chartered accountant has to reverse that, and it has to provide depreciation on WDV method as prescribed under the Income Tax Act. So that is the thing that is different from the normal audit and the tax audit. In tax audit, we generally follow the Income Tax Act. And for other audits, we follow Companies Act or Partnership Act as applicable to the organization. Now, the business organizations are divided into various types. For example, proprietorship. There is the first stage of doing any small business. You can be a proprietor. Then we have partnership firms. Then we have companies. We have HUF. We have various other organizations in which you can run your business. Now the concept of one person company has also emerged under the Companies Act, where there can be only one director in the company and still it will be regarded as a company under the Companies Act. So for proprietorship, for partnership, for companies, accountancy is necessary, right? But for proprietorship, there are no set of rules that how to maintain your account, right? For partnership, there is Partnership Act, but again, there are no set of specific rules or any standards or act which prescribes that how to maintain this partnership books of accounts. But for companies, there is a Companies Act. This Companies Act have been brought in 1956 year, but it has been amended in the year 2013. 2013, the Companies Act have been amended and it prescribes the procedure and specific format for companies to prepare its books of account. Right. So it's partnership firm account and proprietorship account. They are like no set of rules you can prepare on your own, but you have to follow the accounting standards. These accounting standards are prescribed by the accounting body, the prescribed body. Why these accounting standards have been brought? To avoid the multiplicity of accounts. For example, for one particular thing, person A will account for it in his own manner, and that particular person B will account it as in his own manner. For example, let me give you an example. For one particular thing, like for depreciating an asset, person A says that my machinery is using on day-to-day basis and I am using it non-stop. So let me provide 100% depreciation in first year. And person B says, no, I will provide 50% depreciation in first year, 50% in second year. Both these accounting concepts are wrong, right? So 50% depreciation and 50% depreciation, you cannot provide that in books of accounts. You will have to follow the accounting standards. Where any act is not applicable, you have to follow through accounting standard. You have to go to it, like to prepare your books of account. Now moving forward, apart from depreciation, there is one concept of contingent liability. That is liability which may or may not arise in future due to past event. For example, any case is going on company. Any legal case in any court is going on company and its decision is yet to come. Right, its decision is yet to come. So we are not sure that decision may come in favor or against the company. That decision may come in favor or against the company. So we do not know. So if the decision comes against the company will have to pay the fines and dues. Right. So the company will have to keep some provisions in its books of accounts based on the probability of what outcome company is expecting. If company is expecting that company will lose the case, company will have to keep aside some amount. So if in future some fine or penalty has to be paid, the company has its own money to pay those losses and fines. That is the concept of contingent liability. Contingent liability actually does not form part of financial statements. It is shown as a footnote in the balance sheet. Now there is one more part of financial statement that is I was telling in the beginning, that is cash flow statement. Cash flow statement is a statement which shows how the money has came or gone from the business. The inflow and outflow of money is shown in the cash flow statement, where we have cash flow from operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. These three categories have been divided. You can see the format of cash flow. It is available freely on internet. These three things, cash flow from operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities, it has been classified, and various things like changes in working capital and all those things are added up. And lastly, one common balance comes, that is cash flow available to the entity. Lastly, what the cash is available to the entity, that balance is shown in the cash flow statement. Right. So cash flow statement also forms part of financial statement, but with regards to company only. For proprietorship and partnership firm accounts, there is no need to attach cash flow statements in the books, right? But when you will read the annual report of the company, you will see cash flow statement also attached in that. And one more statement, that is statement of changes in equity. Equity, as I told earlier, is a capital, what we call in the company, that is capital, and it is the owner's fund which have been brought in the organization, that is we call equity. And statement of changes in equity shows that from the opening balance of the equity in the year beginning until the year end, what all changes have been reported in the equity, as has equity been increased or decreased, what all changes have been brought, what money has been brought in by the business owner, or what withdrawals have been done by the business owner during the financial year. So these all were the important aspects which are going on right now in the organization. So if anyone has any doubt regarding this, you can ask me, so we can wind up this session.
Sir,
Yes.
सर आपने कहा था कि पार्टनरशिप में ऐसा कोई प्रिस्क्राइब फॉर्मेट नहीं है, इसको हमें फॉलो करना चाहिए, बट जो इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट 1932 हम उसको फॉलो तो करते ही हैं.
Like in format, in the sense what you are talking, like profit and loss and balance sheet.
नहीं
that
मतलब
has
रूल्स
to
एंड रेगुलेशंस प्रॉपरली जो आपने कहा था कि मतलब उसमें ऐसा कुछ कंपल्सरी नहीं है.
like कोई
Partnership
एक्ट
में
गवर्न,
क्या
जैसे कंपनीज में कंपनीज एक्ट गवर्न करता है उसको, प्रोप्राइटरशिप के लिए या पार्टनरशिप के लिए कोई एक्ट या स्टैंडर्ड प्रिस्क्राइब नहीं किया गया कि आपको इन्हीं फॉर्मेट पे जा करके आपको अपना अकाउंट्स बनाना है. लाइक फॉर कंपनीज एक्ट शेड्यूल 3 आप देखेंगे, शेड्यूल
Yes,
3
sir.
पूरा प्रिस्क्राइब्ड है कि कंपनीज को इन चीजों का ध्यान रखना है अपना बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स बनाते वक्त. ऐसा कोई स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्मेट प्रोप्राइटरशिप या पार्टनरशिप फर्म के लिए प्रिस्क्राइब्ड नहीं है. दैट इज व्हाट आई वाज ट्राइंग टू से.
सर फिर जो हमारा इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट 1932 है वो किस चीज के लिए अमेंडेड हुआ?
Yeah, that is with regards to rules and regulations of partnership. के पार्टनर्स का एडमिशन कैसे होगा, रिटायरमेंट कैसे होगा, पार्टनर रिटायर होगा तो उसको क्या क्या मिलेगा, उन सारी चीजों को रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस में लाने के लिए इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट आया है.
ओके सर.
राइट.
Excuse me, sir.